Hello, it's the Scenic Cyclist, off for another ride. Today I'll be riding on the Cannon Trail, which begins at the Cannon Township office building. Winds through the country for about somewhere between 4 and 5 miles, and takes me to the heart of the village of Cannonsburgh, I guess it would be called. And then I'll ride back, so a total route of around 9 miles. Why am I doing this ride today? It's the first week of November, a little late in my opinion, a little late for bike riding in Michigan, but it's a fairly nice day. And even though it's a little overcast right now, the sun is supposed to come out in the next 10 to 15 minutes. And I think that's really important because the leaves have turned such great colors that the sun would really help accentuate the magnificent colors of fall here in West Michigan. It's a beautiful fall day here in Michigan, Western Michigan. It's hard to believe that people are out here playing pickleball in the first week of November. Sometimes we have snow on the ground by this time, but obviously that's not the case, and people in Michigan are taking advantage of the situation. This is the Cannon Township office building, where the pickleball courts are located, as well as a park with a pavilion. And this is also the trailhead for the Cannon Trail. Well, so it begins. Here we go. The mountain bike trail. We might have to try that later. Very nice park here at the trailhead. Like I said, this is at the Cannon Township office building. So here we go on the nature trail, the Cannon Township Center Park Nature Trail. Somehow I think I'm going to wish this trail were longer by the time I get done. Because right now I really like this. Well, I knew there'd be houses and residential areas here along the trail. I didn't expect it to happen quite this soon. Boardwalk, very pleasant. Suddenly I wonder if I'm even on the right trail. Seems like I'm heading back to the office now, back to the office building. Well, I was expecting maybe 4 to 5 miles. It turns out it's more like 400 or 500 feet. And I'm pretty much back where I started. Okay, obviously I'm not on the right trail. I think it might be time to pull up my map. Well, egg on my face. I thought the trail would go right out the back of the office area, but it doesn't. I need to travel along Building Road on a bike path along the road. I'm not a big fan of riding on the road. Too many distracted drivers from my taste. So I am going over to Building Road, and I am going to travel just a quarter mile, half mile, something like that, down to Silver Lake. And my understanding is, based upon the map I just looked at, that there will be a trail that departs from Building Road and will take me to Cannonsburgh. But right now, I'm struggling to find anything at all that looks like a trail. All right, so I'm by the firehouse, the Cannonsburgh Firehouse, or the Cannon Township Fire Department, and it looks like there could be a trail right over here, and that is where I am now headed. This looks a little bit more like what I was expecting. What does the sign say? Restrooms, perfect, good to know. And looks to me like this is the trail the bike path that's going to take me to where I want to go. So, I think we're back on track now. I hope there's no more mistakes in my near future. Yeah, this looks much more acceptable. This is Belding Road, a fairly busy road in the area, but nonetheless, we have a bike path, so it looks very safe. Silver Lake on the left. Very nice older home on the right. This is an area, because we're in Michigan, this is an area, there are 3 lakes right here together, Lake Bella Vista, Silver Lake, and Boswick Lake. And during the summer months, basically from June through August into September, it's extremely busy as Michiganders take advantage of the warm weather that's not around all year round like other people have. So this is an extremely busy area for boating and tubing and water skiing and basically anything water related during the summer months. But pretty much shuts down this time of year. Hello. Good friendly guy there. Everybody loves seeing the Scenic cyclist. I'm on the lookout for this trail that's going to go off to the right here at some point. I hope it's right up here. Well, I have to think this is it. I'm actually pretty happy about this trail right now. About a week ago, I rode a trail that I had very high expectations for, and it was unfortunately a little disappointing in terms of scenery. Whereas, to be honest, I didn't have very high expectations of what I was going to find on this trail. But right now, I'm finding it to be probably one of the more pleasant trails that I've had the pleasure of riding. The occasional bench for people who are wandering about out here in the wilderness, crossing over some wetlands, the very nice It's unfortunate that I'm going to have to edit out some of this footage, as they say, because it's going to make for too long of a video. Because it's unfortunate because some of this is very, very nice. I wish you could be traveling it with me. A lot of very, very tall hardwood trees in this area. A lot of the trails that I've taken have, as I've done the research, have shown me that at one point, a couple of 100 years ago, most of this area was covered in a mixture of hardwoods and pine trees, many of which were cut down in the late 1800s to be sawed up into lumber for cities in the Northeast U.S. as well as building Chicago. In fact, a lot lot of the white pines in western and the northern part of the lower peninsula of Michigan were cut down to rebuild Chicago after the Great Chicago Fire. As a result, we don't have a whole lot of very large trees in Michigan, which was at one point covered with trees that were 200 years old and 200 feet high. Now they're kind of hard to find in Michigan. And even though we still have a lot of wooded areas, the trees aren't nearly as big as they used to be. I've always been fascinated with cemeteries, especially the older cemeteries in any area. It's fascinating to me to think that these are graves of people who lived here, had families, had friends, people who knew them, and they passed away, and gradually everybody who ever knew them dies off. This is a cemetery I've never seen before off of Sunfish Road, Sunfish Drive, whatever it is. Might have to stop here later and check out some dates on these graves. Bridges like these always make the ride a little bit more interesting because it gives you something to look at. And by the looks of this one up here, I am going to have to put my phone away or I risk injury in life and limb. And now we come out at a main road, which I'm going to assume is coming out at Townsend Park, which is near the center of Cannonsburg. I have driven over this before, and now I know where it's coming from. It's a busy road, so I'm about to put my camera away. So I checked out my map. I'm just a little bit north of Townsend Park. We just crossed over the main road. Now we're going to turn to the right and go south into Townsend Park. Happy to see most of the leaves have blown off the trail. Sometimes you get on these trails during the fall and the leaves are so much covering the trail that you really can't tell where the trail is, and you end up with your wheels occasionally going off the trail, which sometimes is not a bad thing, sometimes it is a bad thing. Well, here we are pulling into Townsend Park. Across the road again, which means I might have to put my phone away because I don't think we want a video of me getting hit by a car, as much as unfortunately a lot of people would find that entertaining anymore. I wouldn't. All right, I made it, no big deal. And this brings us into Cannonsburg. Not a very large town or village or whatever it's called. Right there is a building, a business called the Grist Mill. Don't know what the history is, but I know they have a fantastic breakfast and lunch menu. It's a small diner in the back of the building. Here we have the area liquor store. Next to it is a restaurant, a very popular restaurant in the area called the Honey Creek Inn. And this would be my final image from the small village of Canonsburg. This is the moose in front of the grist mill. As you can see, all bundled up for the winter. Well, that completes my ride of the Cannon Trail. I had low expectations. I thought it would just be a bike path going through a forest, but there was a lot to see. There were wetlands, there were neighborhoods that were actually kind of interesting to ride through the backyards, so to speak, of some of the houses. Please be on the lookout for my next video where I'll cover another great trail around the Grand Rapids area. And please subscribe to my channel, The Scenic Cyclist. Until then,